My story is I was actually a pilot and a captain for United Airlines, but I just knew that sitting in that seat wasn't going to create financial freedom for myself and my family. I didn't come from a silver spoon, so like those of you guys who are just, maybe starting out or don't have this pedigree, it's okay. Like you are in the right room, you are in the right spot, you can trust the people who are up here speaking.
First off, Ryan, people don't know you. If they don't know you in the crowd, they should know you. Everyone should know Ryan, though.
Yes.
Walk us through a little bit your story. I know you were a pilot originally for Grant. So you're a pilot turned multi-billion-dollar fund manager, executive vice president, pretty much running. You told me, you're like, I run everything at Cardone Capital. Grant just does his videos online and stuff, and it's kind of runs all through you, which is pretty cool. That's why we wanted actually Ryan to come. Like, this is the guy to actually talk to. Just knows the insides and outs of everything that's going on. And that's not a slight on Grant Cardone at all. That's just, I wanted to get to the guy that's like running everything, which is pretty cool.
Building a team is fascinating, and you need both people. My story is I was actually a pilot and a captain for United Airlines, but I just knew that sitting in that seat wasn't going to create financial freedom for myself and my family. I didn't come from a silver spoon, so like those of you guys who are just, maybe starting out or don't have this pedigree, it's okay. Like you are in the right room, you are in the right spot, you can trust the people who are up here speaking. When I became a pilot, I did it because I wanted to be around in my goals I used to write as a pilot, I want to fly for somebody who is on the top of their game and moving and shaking around the world. And so from the age of 21 years old, I started flying when I was 17, 21 years old, I started writing this down every single day because I used to see the G5s and the G650s pulling up. I said, I want to be around those people in those airplanes. And so you guys might think like, well, how did you become a pilot and then private equity and then real estate? This was all planned. This was all planned up here. And that's why it's so important for you guys who have goals and dreams to write them down and to actually put into play what you want. And so when I was 30 years old, I said, I have to hang up this hat. I've got to hang up these epaulets at the airline because I was capped. Each year I was capped. They have your set raises for the next 30 years. And I don't believe in 401ks. I actually believe in taking the 401ks and pushing them into the fund that we have or that you guys create. But this is how you can get creative, right? So at 30 years old, I said, what's next? And Grant Cardone on social media, on YouTube, he was really, it's like you ever hear, you can hear the truth from miles away. I heard the truth from miles away. What Grant Cardone was doing, what he was saying, what he was talking about was just being authentic. And I said, I'm going to go join his team. His team was like, you want to give up the airlines and you want to give up, I had 21 homes, 21 units.
Which we're going to dive to in a minute. That's cool to build a real estate portfolio while working, which is amazing. But keep going.
Yeah. But at 30 years old, it was too small, right? It's too small, guys. Whatever we're thinking right now, it's too small. Whoever you're hanging out with, it's too small. Whatever you're like, oh, well, this is a problem, it's too small. Like, get big-ass problems so that way all the little problems seem so small. And so,
Clapping up for that. That's not bad, hey?
God, we got to start thinking bigger. But that's why I said I want to go work for Grant Cardone, because I was thinking too small. And everybody around me was saying, you're thinking too big. Y'all ever have that? And they're like pulling you back. It's like the old crabs in the bucket. You got to get around people who are moving and shaking this world. And so if I said, if I could be the number 2 guy working with Grant Cardone, I wanted to hang it up at United, but I wanted to bring that into a skill. I wanted to bring that into a team where it was a skill. And so I said, Grant, I can come on be your pilot. He's like, can you even fly airplanes? I'm like, well, I got about 10,000 hours. Does that count?
Yeah.
Anybody in here as a pilot knows 10,000 hours? Like, I flew my ass off for 10 years. I flew about 1,000 hours a year. It's the max you can fly.
Did you just call him up or approach him or send him a DM? Like, what did that look like?
I called him. I called his office. I said, when can I be in there to interview? Grant wasn't even there. I met with Jared. And I was there because I had jump seat passes, right? I jump seat from Scottsdale to Miami. I interviewed with Jared. The only opening was a sales job. He didn't even have his airplane. The airplane was 2 weeks out. And I said, I'll take it. I said, I'll take the job. It was like, what do I do? They're like, you make phone calls to businesses. Cool, I'll be here in when can I start, 2 weeks? They said, yeah. I packed up all my shit in my house, my comfort zone in Arizona, and I moved out here. I started with Grant 2 weeks later, and then 9 years, I stand here in front of you guys where we've raised, $1.1 billion, 12,000 units, 2 office complexes. And now I've got, names in my phone and names with Grant, like from the biggest banks, from the biggest sellers. I mean, these are institutions now that we're communicating with. And so just the power of attraction, guys, I'm telling you, like, if you could just take one thing, whether you're doing it yourself or you're doing it with partners or you're having somebody help you, you just got to do it. You got to get rid of all of that stuff in the past, and you got to give it up. Because what are you willing to give up to get in the future?
I love that. So before you go too fast, we're gonna get questions for everybody, etc. But you're Grant's pilot at the time. How do you go from being the pilot that's flying the G whatever to, hey, you know what? Let's launch some funds, and actually I'm gonna make you in charge of all the funds and all the real estate portfolios and everything. Walk us through that gap? You kind of skipped over that pretty quick.
So it happened overnight. It happened overnight. One day he just called me and said, hey, you want to do this? And so it was like a day thing. So we were flying in like 3 months into this thing, because I'm asking Grant questions, right? I mean, I got Grant Cardone. I'm flying with him. He's in the back, like, hey, what do you need? What do you want? Like, because I've got a bit of charm to me, you know what I mean? And I want to help. Like, if there's one thing that I want in life, it's responsibility, but I want to help others. And so as we were flying, we actually went to Daphne, Alabama, where Elena, Grant's wife, she's amazing. She's beautiful. His kids are phenomenal. And we were at Christmas dinner. And he has a property in Daphne, Alabama that's 360 units called Audubon Park. It's now called 10X Audubon Park. And he came back home because Elena invited me over. Grant didn't invite me over, Elena did. And he was pissed. He's like, these managers suck, and the pool's dirty, and there was just a storm that rolled through the night before.
Oh, shoot.
and fast forward, I looked at him, I said, man, what if I parked the airplane when we landed in Miami and I came back up here and I rented out 40 of the units? And he looked at me and he's like, you would do that? He's like, because now at this time I'm the pilot, right? And I said, Grant, I've already got a plane ticket. I'll be up here. I'll come up and stay in the apartments. I'll stay in the units. I got a blow-up mattress. Like, I'm not high maintenance, guys. I don't need a bed and a coffee maker and all that shit, right? I'm here to work. And I wanted to prove to Grant that I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and mop floors. So literally I was there 2 days later. The first time I walked into the management office, I noticed that the property manager was posting on Facebook. And she would get 3 likes. And there was 40 apartments that needed to be rented. And I said, do you think Facebook's working right now? Do you think Instagram is the channel you want to go on? Are we really talking about metrics here? How about we talk about knocking on a door and going out and trying to find people to lease these things? And so Grant was calling me every single day. He was walking me through how he thought about multifamily and real estate. And within 15 days, I had 15 leases. He called me up and he says, Ryan, get your ass back here. You are now a part of what was Cardone Real Estate Equity at the time. It wasn't even Cardone Capital. And I flew back the next day, and there was one guy on the team. Literally, there was one guy on the team. And then when I was flying back, he let that guy go, and now there was one person on the team, and it was Ryan. And it was Grant and myself who
That's amazing. Clap it up for that. Come on, that's pretty cool.
It's just it's a grind, guys. It's a grind, but it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it.
You showed up and said, I'm going to ask questions, I'm going to talk, I'm going to wait for my opportunity and go for it. And I actually have employees on my team, some that just work and whatever, but I have a few that always are asking me questions about funds and what's the next thing and how do I, and when an opportunity comes up, guess who I'm going to go to?
Right.
Potentially just throw out some, hey, do you want to take it? And then some guys step up and they go, and it's amazing. I love that so much.
And you see that in your team, right? And so how the funds came about was I wanted to invest with Grant. And if you guys remember, like in 2010 and 2011, you could not do Reg A and Reg D 5060. And if you guys don't know what these terms mean, don't worry about it. You'll get caught up. But you cannot do a general solicitation, meaning, hey, do you want to invest in my fund? And you also had to be accredited, meaning that you make over 200 grand or your net worth is over $1 million. But I had 21 units. Grant had 3,000 units at the time, and I knew that I wanted to invest in these big deals, and so I was hounding him saying, hey, look at my deals, hey, and he's like, oh, all your deals are shit. I'm like, well, if I sold them, would you let me invest with you? And he's like, yeah, I'll let you invest with me. And so that's what really hooked me, because Elena and myself, we're the ones who talked Grant into doing the non-accredited fund, which is the Reg A.
So yeah, just be aware, there's Reg A and Reg CF are the main 2 non-accredited funds where you can generally solicit, if you like Fundrise or Cardone Capital, a lot of those that you see are those types. They're called Reg A or Reg CF, regulation crowdfunding is what they go by. Usually a lot of work, not a lot of people have gone after them, and you guys are, I would say arguably the biggest in the country at both those models, which is pretty cool.
Well, I don't
we're
want to
gonna dive
brag.
into
I
that
don't
in a
want to
second.
brag, but I know for sure we're the biggest. Like, cause we're like no, but we're persistent.
Oh yeah.
And like guys, bet like if a non-accredited or accredited, because everybody's the same to me. If an investor called me right now, I'd pick up the phone and answer questions. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody's the same. But now that these new rules are coming into effect, like we have to learn how to use them, because your power base is the most important. The accredited fund, where you go and raise money without really filing with the SEC, is also very important. And then stacking onto that is the Reg A, the non-accredited fund, where maybe you're taking 20 or 30 grand. All three of those work really well together. And so just think with that as you guys are creating funds, make sure you know the easiest and quickest vehicle to actually start building some reps and some success.
So I want to ask you a question on that specifically.
Yeah.
So, and I want to get some Q&A from the audience. I don't want to be asking questions. So you guys be ready. After this question, we want to go Q&A. You tell us that you guys are onboarding about 1 to 3 million a day.
Yes.
Just from your funnels, your leads. I think backstage your guy was like, we already got 800,000 today, and it was like what? It was like 1 o'clock a couple hours ago.
Yeah. What are we at right now, Andres? 1.6.
So 1.6 million today.
Yeah.
And you're here at a conference. So walk us through that funnel. How
guys,
does that happen?
This is every day, guys. This is every day. Well, it doesn't happen at 1.6 million starting day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can clap.
Clap that up. That's pretty cool. Isn't that awesome?
Success is good. Come on, Christian. Stand up for that, Christian.
Yeah.
Goddamn, dude. I got you to
There he is. Call him out.
I dragged my dad from California. Don't mind him.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good.
So walk us through that funnel. Like, how does... I was asking you actually backstage. I was like, so walk me through, so someone sees an ad or Cardone Capital, et cetera. They want to come learn about it. What happens next? Walk us through like how you break that down to get someone to put in capital and have an automated system who like to get 1.2 million a day coming in your fund. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? So walk us through the system of what you guys have built over the years.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, when you raise money, it's a huge responsibility that the investor... it's a huge responsibility, like on my shoulders, on Grant's shoulders. Like, don't take this lightly, but the money's out there. If you have a good deal, you can raise money. Here's how it works, okay? Obviously, you guys know Grant Cardone. Who knows Grant Cardone? Just about it. So right now we have about 16 million followers across Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Instagram and Facebook have been phenomenal. YouTube has really started to scream big time. We used to not run ads at Cardone Capital. Our ad budget used to be around 48, 50 grand per year. I now have an ad budget for Cardone Capital because now we're moved to the next level, right? The ad budget for Grant Cardone, he would run events and we would build rapport with these individuals. And so Grant Cardone is a monster. I mean, he's a beast. I mean, in social media, guys, like he doesn't edit things. He doesn't put filters on things. Like he does it and he pushes it out and whatever sticks works. We're all overthinking social media. People actually don't want edited stuff. People want to see who you are, but focus on your power base. So the funnel works like this. Grant Cardone, whether it's a Google ad or Facebook or Instagram or our power base, we have I'm going to keep it very simple. We have CardoneCapital.com. If you guys go there, we don't have a big drawn out website. We actually have a landing page as our website, because the more data we gave people, the more they didn't put their information in. And at the end of this, what I want is I want to call somebody. Whether you're accredited, non-accredited, your parents got money, you got an IRA, whatever it is, I want to call you. Because see, this is the thing that, and I'm not bashing Fundrise or CrowdStreet or these other platforms, but the one thing that they're missing is me. The one thing that they're missing is you. The one thing that they're missing is Andreas. They don't have Bridger. Like these guys are calling me, asking me questions about, hey, what are you doing with investor relations? I'm like, you need to get some. If you guys are getting stalled out on your raises, you got to get people on the phones, because a website's not going to cure all things, right? And so literally on our website, the first thing before you click on anything, I want your first name, your last name, your email, and then your phone number. If you give it to me, great. If you don't, I got all your other stuff, and I'll just start hitting you with emails, right? But the Grant Cardone approach, and that's what we instill into our companies, is, hey, let's call everybody. So what happens is we get 500, 600 leads per day new, per day. And I've got over 500,000 people, it's probably now close to 600,000, who have raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in real estate. Because guys, we have a track record, we have deals, and we've been buying deals, and we've been doing all this. It's not gonna start this way, but don't be discouraged.
So you build this big list.
Yeah, you build this big list.
And by the way, tonight after dinner, I'm going to go actually very deep on building this exact. I'm so happy you bring this up. I have a whole talk prepared on this. Building lists, whether they're big or small, it's amazing. I'm so happy you're bringing this up because it's huge. And then from that list, what do you guys do next?
Well, and the list is really important, but you have to have interaction with them, right? You have to do text messages, and you have to do emails, and you have to do live Instagrams, and you have to do Zoom calls every single month. Like, we take this list and we nurture it with human interaction. If I send you an email saying, hey, how great this deal is, are you going to bite and send me 500 grand? Would you send me 500 grand with an email? Probably not. What's your first name? If I call Matt and say, hey, Matt, this deal's a screamer, I'm personally going to invest 250 grand, 750, a million. Grant's going to invest. We're going to close this deal with or without you. It's 350 units. It's closing next week. Do you want in? You get cash flow, appreciation, tax benefits, and you also get leverage. Does that sound good to you? And, oh, by the way, I'm going to manage it for you. This is the piece that you guys are forgetting. When you create a fund, you are now the manager. So it doesn't mean you work less. It actually means you work more, but you got to make sure when you're selling that person on why they should invest with you, you are taking the tenants, the toilets, and the termites out of their heads so they no longer have to deal with them. This is a perfect solution moving forward, and I feel like all of us in here are just getting started. Live in the land of abundance, not scarcity, folks.
I love that.
This is where we're going.
You clap that. That was pretty good.
This is where we're going, guys. This is where we're going. Let's take the money from these big institutions who have been controlling us for so long. If they got a 401k, good. Self-direct it, invest it into the fund. If you don't have an IRA or a 401k, make this fund, make whatever it is, your retirement plan. These are the alternative investments. It's like being an entrepreneur back in like the early 90s. It was a bad word. Oh, entrepreneur means you're a loser. Now it's the cool thing. Now if you're not an entrepreneur, it's actually kind of the reverse, right? Alternative investments are now where people are actually seeing returns, not just hoping and praying when they wake up on retirement that they're going to have enough money to actually retire. Which
I love it. Okay, I promise we do some Q&A.
Let's do it.
So Tanner, we got microphones. We'll bring them out.
Time goes quick, doesn't it?
I know, it just flies, that screen. So I want to make sure we had a few questions. I think to organize, if they can come from the backstage, what we're going to do so that you can, I think if you can come out here to this middle, what we can do, if you guys can make a line, if you have a question, come line up right where Tanner is and right here in this hallway. So just stand up and move if you have a question.
Build these lines big, guys.
And we'll get as many as we can. So we'll go, I think on the right here, we'll go here first. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Giovanni Corpus. I'm an investment banker. We do debt and equity raises, 25 to 5 billion. My question for you, Ryan, is when can we do a deal together?
Right now. Let's do it right now. What you got? What you got? You get a real estate deal or you got money?
No, we're an investment bank, so we could do debt and equity capital raises.
Okay, let's do a deal now.
Well,
there's no better time than the damn present.
Absolutely, let's do it. We'll be in touch. I'll let everyone else.
Yeah, thank you,
awesome, thank you.
And really quick, guys, this is an important thing. When you guys create your funds, you know, one of the important things for us is we wanted to cut out the middleman. We didn't want some guy raising for us who's going to charge 3 and 4 and 5 and 6%. So I'm helping you guys build your pitch on whatever it is you're pitching, whether it's real estate, whether it's tech, whatever your fund may be. These new rules actually allow you to cut out these middlemen. Where when Bridger sends me $1 million, because I think, what are you sending, 10?
Yeah, it's 10 or 20 between there. Probably,
so when you send the first $1 million, the $1 million goes into the deal. Like I'm not getting scraped along the way, and this is really important when we're moving in this new age of these funds, is that we cut out the middleman. I'm not saying that his job isn't important, because if you have a big enough deal, it actually is. Maybe I take this bucket, maybe I take this bucket, and we invest. But with us, we actually cut out all these middlemen where you're investing direct with the guys who are buying the real estate, which is super important.
I love it. Let's go this side. Tanner over here.
Got Tim. Good to see you, Tim.
Hey, Ryan. My name's Wes, and my question is what's the risk of being Reg A or Reg C and dealing with non-accredited investors, and why do people choose not to do it? Because it seems like the pool of people would be greater.
Well, look, I think that when you talk about humans as a whole, right, there's no difference to me as accredited or non-accredited. The world likes to make you believe there is. If you communicate with enough people, you realize that you and me are the same. Doesn't matter how much you make versus what I make. The process and the setup is just more difficult. And so the SEC believes that if you're not accredited, meaning you make under 200 grand, that you need to have caps on how much you can invest, or they need to approve it. Literally, we'll create a Reg D fund, 506C, which means I can go out and raise money from accredited investors in 0 minutes because I have to file within 15 days after I raise the first money. And actually, I don't even have to get approval from the SEC. With a non-accredited, I actually have to go through what did the last one take us, Andreas? 8 months. The last Reg A took us 8 months, and it cost about 20 times what the accredited fund cost. But for me, my personal experience is I actually don't think that there's any other way. I think as a human, people deserve to invest in these assets. If you pull up Cardone Capital, if you can pull up, these assets, like the person who needs it the most is actually the non-accredited. So what I say is if you can do a CF or a Reg A, also do a Regulation D where you can actually raise money from accredited investors and have the two, this is what we do, have the two ride parallel so that way you can actually buy big enough deals and you're not raising checks at 20K a pop. And so the deals are bigger, everybody benefits, and it's a win-win. Yeah, but we all deserve it, man. If all the crowd, like all the funds, you deserve to give the little guy, whatever the little guy means, a shot.
Wall Street Rebels. I love it. That's what we talk about.
God, let's go.
But yeah, it is the cost and the hoops to jump through are significantly more. We've helped actually a bunch of people in Black Card launch Reg CS, which they can totally do. But I tell them, make sure you have a good marketing plan and enough budget for investor relations and stuff, because it's just the cost is a lot more.
Yeah, and look, you have to answer more questions, but at the end of the day, guys, just be patient with people. You know, this is how you're going to build a monster brand.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those Wall Street guys, they're all raising at $1,000 a clip or $3,000 a clip. You gotta tweak the model. Maybe you don't start there where it's like, you know, in one of my non-accredited funds we have like 4,000 investors, right? Maybe you don't start with 4,000 investors. Maybe you start with a smaller fund where you could actually manage it. But I'm here to tell you, the first investor relations team members on our team at Cardone Capital, can you guys guess who they were? Grant Cardone and Ryan Tseko. Investor relations, COO, like we were all of the above. So don't think you guys need a team to get started.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah. You can clap that up. I think we'll go this side.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hi. My name is Varsha, and I'm a realtor in New Jersey, and properties are very expensive, and specifically investment properties. My question to you is, what is the process of finding a good deal, big or small? Like big properties, small properties, doesn't matter.
What's the process of finding a good deal?
How do I identify? Not the foreclosure ones, but just off-market.
So I worry about off-market deals because if they're truly off-market, why are they off-market? My response to that is you have to look at a lot of deals. And you have to build these relationships in the marketplaces that you want to go into for a while. But you have to make offers on deals. So for me, we have a club, right, where we talk about deals and we pitch deals every single week. It's almost like what you have, right, where it's like, this is, and guys, you got to get around people like Bridger and people who are doing something really big, because you will shortcut. Like if you gave Bridger 6 months, he will shortcut you guys to give you all the cliff notes and all the cheat sheet on how to create a fund. And this is really what you need. The most important thing is the deal, and I heard you speak about this earlier today, which is brilliant, by the way, because for us, it's the deal, then it's the debt, then it's the equity, the network, and the confidence, right? We have the 5 things. But you have to look at a lot of deals. You have to make a lot of offers. And I think right now, just to shoot you straight, we haven't bought a deal, a multifamily deal, in about a year. And the reason why is because nobody knows what the asset value is right now because debt has shot up so high. So you have to make a lot of offers, and also it has to feel good to you. Just remember, whenever you invest in something, guys, invest for the long periods of time. Like our Cardone Capital set up for a 10-year fund. Don't feel like when you're setting up your fund like it has to be 2 to 3 years because that's what everybody wants. If that's what your investors want, get new investors. If you want to set something up long term, I'm telling you, the guys who get squeezed are the guys who are like fix and flip, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Sometimes you get a big bang, sometimes you don't. But if you set up in 10 years, and so when you're walking up to a deal, make sure it feels good. Make sure in the good and the bad, you want to keep that deal because that's what it's going to take.
I love it.
Yep.
Great question. Probably have time for one more. Did you want to hit your friend here, or?
I think we should.
Okay.
I think we should. Let's do 2 more. Man, do y'all think he should keep me here longer?
I love it.
Hey, Ryan, good to see you, bud.
I'm going to get a riot going on
I know,
here,
it's going to
man.
be good.
Tim Axley, good to see you again. First, I just want to say thank you for being the introduction into me investing to my first funds with you and Grant, Andres, and the team. It's been great, so thank you for that. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about the power of what you're speaking about abundance, and you believe that. I'm around you enough to see that. The power of collaboration. A lot of times, especially in real estate, people want to keep their thoughts and opportunities to themselves. You have really embraced the thought of sharing everything you're doing through transparency, the power of collaboration, and what that has done to amplify your growth at Cardone Capital.
Yeah, I think it's the most important thing. I mean, even me coming here today and supporting Bridger, it helps all of us. And if Bridger's successful, I'm successful. And Grant has obviously built a huge brand. But I think if you're not collabing, you're actually doing yourself a disservice as well as investors. Look, guys, you have to be completely transparent in this world we live in. Everybody knows what you're doing. You can't hide. You can't run. I mean, like literally, we are now moving into a world where it is actually really good. And I know there's a lot of bad people, but there's more good people. And with Cardone Capital, I did this. I created Cardone Capital. I said I created Cardone. Grant and I created Cardone Capital because like I really wanted it for me. And when you want something for yourself, guess what? Other people also want it. Our first deal, guys, was $20 million multifamily deal in Port St. Lucie. The debt was $14 million. We raised $6 million. The cool ass thing about it is we raised the $6 million in 7 days because we had a power base, we had friends, we had family, and like I'll call my mom. Like the deal has to feel so good where you're calling your family. But you have to collaborate with everybody, and don't forget around, like, and I know I started this thing out with like, oh, if your people around you are thinking so small, like move on. The people around you actually do want more, and if they have money and you have a fund, make sure you're sharing your wins and your investment thesis, because that's actually where most of us are gonna start. It's with the power base. Bridger, I know you, your number is in my phone. Can you send 250? Can you send 25 grand? What could you send? How liquid are you? Like, that was our thing at Cardone Capital. Whenever we got on the call, hey, how liquid are you? Like, what do you mean? How, like, do I got to take a piss right now? Or, like, what do I got to do? No, man. Like, how much money you got in the bank? Like, you got an IRA. Like, you got all this stuff. So have fun with it also. So collaborate with people. Have fun with it. And I personally believe that the ethical and the people who are doing the things that are right will always succeed.
And I'll even add, backstage, Ryan comes up, hey, how can I help you? It's like, Bridger, this is about you. How can I help you? How can we do deals? You backstage your time. Bridger, how can I help you? And I love the attitude you guys have.
Yep.
Now, I know we got a bunch of questions. We are over time.
I know.
So, Ryan, I think we might have to have like an encore session, have you back. But we got to keep things rolling.
Well, maybe for people who sign up or do whatever you got going on here, maybe what we can do is we can do like a private Q&A or we can do something afterwards. Look, again, guys, I live 20 minutes away. Anything you need from me, if it helps you guys maybe get over that hump. Like, you guys are in the right spot. You guys got to create funds. You guys got to learn the lingo. You got to understand, different waterfall structures and different all this stuff. Because once you do, the most important thing becomes the deal. And then once you have the deal, the most important thing becomes the investors. And then once you have all of those things combined, now it's like, how do you build something really, really big that's going to last a really, really long time, so that way you and your family and everybody around you has a different life.
I love it. Give it up for Ryan Tseko, everybody!